My name is Frank Doyle, and my own son blocked my phone number, so I couldn't reach my own family. I'm 71 years old. I live in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I still own a small apartment building I bought back in the 1980s. 6 units, nothing fancy, but it's paid off, and it's mine. My son, Danny, took over the bookkeeping for me a couple years back after my hands started giving me trouble with paperwork. Every Sunday, like clockwork, he used to call and check in. Then one month, the calls just stopped. At first I figured he was busy. Then a week passed. Then two. I tried calling him myself, and it went straight to voicemail every single time. No ring, nothing. I tried his wife, Lori. Same thing. I tried my own grandkids' phones, thinking maybe I could just ask them what was going on. Straight to voicemail, every time. So I got in my truck and drove over to Danny's house myself. He opened the door looking like he'd rather be anywhere else on earth. "Danny, why hasn't anyone called me? I've been trying for 2 weeks." He looked down at the ground for a second, then back up at me. "Dad, we blocked your number." I just stood there. "You did what?" "It's not what you think," he said quick, like he'd rehearsed it. "Lori thought it would help, with your blood pressure and everything, less stress. We were going to explain it eventually." I didn't buy that for 1 second. A man doesn't block his own father's number to help his blood pressure. Something else was going on, and standing on that porch, I could feel it in my gut. I went home that night and couldn't sleep. I started thinking back over the last few months, and once I started looking, I couldn't stop finding things that didn't add up. Danny had started handling all my mail from the apartment building a while back, just to make it easier, he said. He also asked me to set up call forwarding on my landline, so any tenant calls about repairs would go straight to him instead of me. I thought that was just him being helpful. My hands weren't what they used to be, and I figured, why not let him handle the small stuff? But now, sitting in my kitchen thinking it through, something felt off. If tenant calls went to him, and my own family's calls were blocked, then I had no way of knowing what was really happening with my own building. None at all. The next morning, I drove to the apartment building myself. First time I'd been out there in almost 3 months. 2 of my longtime tenants, the Garcias in Unit 4, waved me down in the parking lot. "Mr. Doyle, we're so glad to see you," Mrs. Garcia said. "We've been trying to reach you for weeks. The heater's been broken since October, and we keep calling the number on our lease, but nobody ever calls us back." My stomach dropped. "You've been calling my son's number?" "Yes, every week. No one ever answers." I checked the mailbox for the building myself that day, the one Danny had been handling. Inside was a stack of unopened mail going back over a month, including 2 letters from the bank about a missed loan payment on the building and one from the city about a code violation notice tied to that same broken heater. I called an old friend of mine, Walter, who used to be an accountant before he retired, and asked him if he'd come take a look at the books with me. Walter sat with me at my kitchen table 2 days later, going through bank statements I'd asked the bank to print out directly, since I wasn't about to ask Danny for them. What we found made my hands shake. Over the past 5 months, rent payments from all 6 units had gone into an account I didn't recognize, not the one that had always paid my mortgage and taxes. Meanwhile, my own mortgage payment on the building had been missed twice, which was strange, because there should have been more than enough rent money coming in to cover it easily. "Frank," Walter said quietly, "it looks like the rent's going somewhere else, and your mortgage payment is getting skipped anyway. Somebody's been pulling money out before your bills ever get paid." I sat there with that for a long minute. My own son. Walter helped me get in touch with a lawyer he trusted, a woman named Renee, who specializes in cases just like this, family members handling an older relative's money without real permission. She looked over everything Walter had found and didn't waste any time. "Frank, this looks like straightforward theft, dressed up as helping out. But we need to know exactly what's happening with that new account, and we need proof it's not some kind of honest mistake." Renee suggested I let Danny keep thinking everything was normal a little while longer. It was hard, sitting through an awkward, forced lunch with him 3 days later, listening to him talk about handling things so I don't have to worry, all while that stack of unpaid bills sat locked in my truck. Through a private investigator Renee worked with, we were able to get a copy of the new account's paperwork, opened just 5 months earlier, in Danny and Lori's names, with automatic rent deposits redirected there straight from 3 of my tenants who'd been asked, politely, to update their payment info for Mr. Doyle's convenience. The investigator also managed to get a short recorded phone call, completely legal in our state since one party can record with their own consent between Lori and her sister, who Lori had asked to help clean up some of the paperwork. Once we get the building refinanced under our name instead of his, we won't even need to keep hiding the account, Lori said. He barely even knows how to check his own bank statements anymore. That's why we cut off the calls, so nobody could tip him off before it's done. I sat in my kitchen listening to that recording with Renee, my own daughter-in-law, talking about my memory like it was a tool for her to use, and any last bit of doubt I had disappeared completely. Renee moved fast after that. She filed a formal complaint for financial exploitation, froze the new account through the bank's fraud department, and got a court date set within a month, thanks to how clear the paper trail was. At the hearing, the judge looked over the bank records, the unopened mail, and the recording, and didn't take long to decide. The account was frozen and turned back over to me completely. Danny and Lori were both charged with financial exploitation of an elderly person and theft. Danny took a plea deal, got probation, and had to pay back every dollar. Lori, since it was mostly her plan from the start according to the evidence, got 8 months in county jail. It's been about 8 months since all this happened. I fixed the heater in unit for myself. First week, I got the building back under my control. The Garcias still bring me tamales every Christmas, and I think that means more to me now than it used to. Danny and I talk sometimes, short calls, careful ones. We're not where we used to be, and I don't know if we ever will be again. But my phone isn't blocked anymore. Anyone who wants to reach me can. If this story got to you, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next one.